The discovery. Sarah Chen pressed her face against the porthole of the research vessel Deep Explorer, watching the dark waters of the Pacific stretch endlessly in all directions. The ship rocked gently as it maintained position over one of the most mysterious locations on Earth, a section of the Mariana Trench, where her sonar equipment had detected something that shouldn't exist. 3 months earlier, Sarah had been conducting routine deep-sea surveys when her instruments picked up geometric patterns on the ocean floor. The readings were so unusual that her research team initially dismissed them as equipment malfunction, but Sarah couldn't let it go. The patterns were too perfect, too deliberate to be natural formations. "Dr. Chen, we're ready for the final systems." "Check," called Captain David Martinez from the bridge. The weathered sea captain had spent 30 years navigating the world's most dangerous waters, and his calm demeanor had earned him the respect of every scientist who sailed with him. When Sarah had approached him with her unusual request to return to the site, he hadn't hesitated. Sarah made her way to the command center where the rest of her team was assembled. Dr. Elena Buscus, a brilliant xenarchaeologist from the University of Madrid, was reviewing the sonar data for the 100th time. Elena had built her career studying artifacts that conventional archaeology couldn't explain, and her expertise in recognizing non-human design patterns had made her invaluable to the mission. "The geometric precision is undeniable," Elena said, pointing to the screen. "Look at these angles. They're mathematically perfect. Nature doesn't create structures like this, especially not at 8,000 meters depth." Jake Thompson, the team's young underwater robotics engineer, was making final adjustments to their deep-sea exploration drone. At 28, Jake was considered a prodigy in his field, having designed revolutionary underwater vehicles that could operate in the most extreme conditions. His enthusiasm for the mission was infectious, though Sarah noticed he kept glancing nervously at their 4th team member. Commander Lisa Park sat quietly in the corner, her military bearing unmistakable even in civilian clothes. The Navy had assigned her to monitor the operation after Sarah's funding request had triggered certain security protocols. Sarah wasn't entirely comfortable with military oversight, but she understood that any discovery of this magnitude would inevitably attract government attention. "Drone deployment in 30 minutes, Jake announced. "All systems are green. The Explorer 3 can handle the pressure and has enough power for a 6-hour mission." Sarah nodded, feeling a mixture of excitement and apprehension. After months of preparation, they were finally going to see what lay on the ocean floor 8,000 meters below. The water pressure at that depth was crushing, over 800 times greater than at sea level. It was a place where few humans had ever ventured, and where the laws of physics created an alien environment. As the drone descended, the team gathered around the monitors. The first few thousand meters revealed the familiar sights of deep-sea life, bioluminescent creatures drifting like living stars in the darkness, and the occasional glimpse of bizarre fish adapted to the crushing depths. 4,000 meters, Jake reported. "Everything looks normal so far, but as they passed 6,000 meters, the water began to take on an unusual quality. The darkness seemed less complete, as if there was some subtle source of illumination far below." "Are you seeing this?" Elena asked, leaning closer to the screen. The drone's powerful lights cut through the water, revealing the steep walls of the trench. But there was something else, a faint glow that seemed to emanate from the depths themselves. 7,000 meters, Jake announced, approaching the anomaly site. Sarah held her breath as the seafloor came into view. What they saw defied every expectation. Resting in a natural depression in the ocean floor was a structure that was clearly artificial. Yet unlike anything ever built by human hands, the object was roughly cylindrical, about 200 meters long, and appeared to be made of some kind of crystalline material that gave off a soft, blue-white luminescence. Its surface was covered in intricate geometric patterns that seemed to shift and change as the drone's lights played across them. "My God," whispered Captain Martinez, "that's no natural formation." Alina was frantically taking notes. "The proportions are all wrong for any known architectural style. But look at the entrance ports. They're the right size for human beings. Indeed, there were several openings along the structure's hull that appeared to be designed for humanoid entry. Each was sealed with what looked like a transparent barrier, and the spaces beyond were filled with a breathable atmosphere rather than seawater." Commander Park stepped forward, her expression serious. "I need to report this immediately. This is clearly of non-human origin." "Wait," Sarah said firmly. "We need to gather more data first. Let's not jump to conclusions." Jake maneuvered the drone closer to one of the entrance ports. The crystalline material was unlike anything in their material science databases. It seemed to be both organic and inorganic simultaneously, with a structure that suggested it had been grown rather than manufactured. "The surface is incredibly smooth," Jake observed. "No signs of erosion, despite being underwater for who knows how long. And look at this." He highlighted a section of the hull where the geometric patterns formed what appeared to be symbols or writing. Alina gasped. "Those aren't random decorations. There's some kind of language or mathematical notation. See how they're arranged in sequences. It's definitely a form of communication." As the drone continued its survey, they discovered more intriguing details. The structure had multiple levels, visible through transparent sections of the hull. Inside, they could see corridors and chambers that seemed designed for beings roughly the size of humans. There were what appeared to be control panels, seating areas, and equipment whose purpose they could only guess at. "It's like it was built for us," Sarah murmured. "But that's impossible." Jake had been studying the entrance mechanisms. "I think I might be able to open one of these ports. The design suggests they respond to specific frequencies." "Absolutely not," Commander Park said immediately. "We don't know what we're dealing with. This could be dangerous." But Jake was already programming his equipment. "I'm not suggesting we go inside, but if we can open a port, we might be able to send instruments into the interior atmosphere." Alina supported the idea. "The commander is right to be cautious, but we'll never understand what this is from the outside. We need to know more." Sarah weighed the risks. Everything about the structure suggested it was designed to be found by humans. The size, the placement, even the apparent invitation of the entrance ports. It was as if whoever built this wanted humans to discover it. "Jake, prepare your frequency generator, but we go slowly. At the first sign of danger, we abort." Jake nodded and began calibrating his equipment. He had developed a theory that the geometric patterns on the hull might be resonance keys, mathematical sequences that could be converted into harmonic frequencies. If he was right, the structure might respond to the correct combination of sounds. The first few attempts produced no response, but as Jake refined his calculations, something began to happen. The patterns around one of the entrance ports began to glow more brightly, and the transparent barrier started to shimmer. "It's working," Alina breathed. "The symbols are lighting up in sequence." There was a moment of perfect silence, then the barrier simply dissolved, revealing the interior of the structure. The atmosphere beyond was clear and breathable, maintained by some unknown technology that had kept it stable for potentially thousands of years. "We have an opening," Jake announced. "Internal atmosphere is stable. Temperature is a comfortable 22 degrees Celsius. It's like whoever built this knew we were coming." Captain Martinez shook his head in amazement. "In 30 years at sea, I've never seen anything like this. It's as if the ocean itself has been keeping this secret." Commander Park was speaking rapidly into her communication device, reporting the developments to her superiors. But Sarah's attention was focused on the structure itself. Through the opening, she could see corridors lined with what appeared to be control panels and display screens. Everything was proportioned for human use, as if the builders had somehow known exactly what humans would need. "We need to get closer," Sarah decided. "Jake, can you guide the drone inside?" "I can try, but the space is tight. If something goes wrong, we might not be able to recover the drone." "Do it. We may not get another chance." As the drone entered the structure, the team watched in fascination. The interior was even more remarkable than the exterior. The walls were lined with panels that seemed to respond to the drone's presence, lighting up as it passed. There were chambers filled with equipment whose purpose they could only guess at, and corridors that led deeper into the structure. "Look at this," Alina pointed to one of the chambers. Those appeared to be some kind of medical or scientific facilities, and they're all sized for human use. The drone's cameras revealed rooms filled with advanced technology, devices that looked like they belonged in a science fiction movie rather than on the ocean floor. There were control panels with symbols that seemed to shift and change, attempting to communicate with the observers. "It's trying to talk to us," Jake realized. The symbols are adapting, becoming more and more like human mathematical notation. Sarah felt a chill of recognition. It's learning. Whatever intelligence built this, it's still active, and it's studying us just as we're studying it. As if, in response to her words, the structure began to emit a low, harmonic tone. The sound was beautiful, almost musical, and it seemed to resonate with something deep in the human psyche. "We need to make contact," Sarah said quietly. "Whatever this is, whoever built it, they want to communicate with us." The first part of their incredible journey was just beginning, and Sarah knew that nothing would ever be the same again. The revelation, the harmonic tone continued to resonate through the deep explorer as the team stared at the underwater structure. Jake had successfully guided the drone deeper into the vessel, and with each passing moment, the technology seemed to become more responsive to their presence. "The central chamber is just ahead," Jake reported, his voice filled with awe. "Whatever's in there, it's the source of the harmonic frequency." Sarah watched the monitor as the drone entered a vast spherical room. The walls were covered in what appeared to be star maps, three-dimensional holographic displays showing the galaxy in incredible detail. But these weren't static images. The stars moved, showing the passage of time across millions of years. "It's a navigation system," Alina breathed. "But look at the scale. This shows the entire galaxy with marked routes between star systems." Dr. Vasquez was right. The holographic displays revealed a network of connections between stars, suggesting established travel routes across interstellar distances. And there, highlighted in a distinctive blue glow, was Earth's solar system. "We're marked," Commander Park observed grimly. "They know exactly where we are." But Sarah noticed something else. The routes all led to Earth, not away from it. "It's not an invasion map," Look at the direction of the pathways. They're coming here, but not to conquer. It's more like they're coming to visit. As the drone moved closer to the center of the chamber, more details became visible. There were control panels arranged in a circle around a central pedestal, and everything was designed for human hands and human proportions. The implications were staggering. Whoever built this knew about humans long before we developed space travel, Sarah said. They designed this entire structure for us. Jake was studying the control interfaces. I think I can activate the central system. The panels are responding to the drone's proximity. Be careful, Commander Park warned. We don't know what we're triggering. But Jake was already extending the drone's manipulator arm toward one of the control panels. The moment it made contact, the entire chamber came alive with light and sound. The star maps began to move more rapidly, and new displays appeared throughout the room. Then, something extraordinary happened. A figure materialized in the center of the chamber, not solid, but a perfect holographic representation of a being that was clearly not human. It stood about 3 meters tall, with 4 arms and an elongated head that housed what appeared to be large, intelligent eyes. But despite its alien appearance, its posture and movements conveyed a sense of benevolence. The being began to speak, but not in any human language. Instead, it used mathematical concepts and geometric patterns that appeared as light displays. Around the chamber, Alina immediately began transcribing the patterns, her expertise in ancient languages helping her recognize the underlying structure. It's using universal mathematical principles, she explained excitedly. Prime numbers, geometric sequences, physical constants. It's trying to establish a common language with us. The alien hologram seemed to recognize that they were beginning to understand. The mathematical displays became more complex, showing equations that described everything from atomic structure to gravitational fields. Then, gradually, the patterns began to incorporate symbols that were clearly derived from human mathematical notation. It's learning our language in real time, Jake marveled. The artificial intelligence is adapting to our communication methods. After several minutes of this exchange, the alien hologram finally spoke in recognizable words, though with a strange, melodious accent. Greetings, humans of Earth. I am the curator of this facility. I have been waiting for your species to develop. The curiosity and capability to find us. Sarah felt her heart racing. First contact with an alien intelligence, and it was happening in the depths of Earth's oceans. Who are you? Why are you here? The curator gestured to the star maps around them. We are the Guardians, a coalition of species that have learned to live in harmony across the galaxy. We have been observing your species for many thousands of your years, watching as you developed from primitive beings into a civilization capable of space travel and deep ocean exploration. Alina leaned forward, her scientific mind racing with questions. You've been studying us. For how long? Since your species first began to create art in caves, the curator replied. We have watched your progress with great interest. Unlike many species we have encountered, humans possess a unique combination of logical thinking and emotional intelligence. You create beauty for its own sake, you form bonds across genetic lines, and you consistently choose to help others even when it provides no immediate benefit to yourselves. Captain Martinez found his voice. You're saying we're different from other species you've met. The curator's expression, though alien, seemed to convey sadness. Most species we encounter follow predictable patterns. They develop technology, exhaust their resources, and either destroy themselves or become purely logical beings without creativity or compassion. A few achieve harmony but become stagnant, losing their drive to explore and grow. Asterisk, but humans, the curator continued, have shown something remarkable. You face extinction-level challenges and respond with cooperation. You explore dangerous frontiers, driven by curiosity rather than conquest. You create art and music that serves no survival purpose except to bring joy. You are the first species we have observed that might be ready for what we call the Great Invitation. Sarah exchanged glances with her team. The Great Invitation. The star maps around them changed, showing dozens of worlds connected by the network of routes they had. Seen earlier, there are 47 species in the Guardian Coalition. Each one had to prove they were ready for galactic citizenship by passing certain tests. Not tests we imposed, but tests that arise naturally from the challenges of growing as a civilization. Commander, Park stepped forward. What kind of tests? The test of cooperation. Can a species work together when faced with global challenges? The test of exploration. Do they venture into the unknown for knowledge rather than conquest? The test of sacrifice. Will they choose the welfare of others over their own immediate benefit? And finally, the test of wisdom. Can they use advanced technology responsibly? Alina was frantically taking notes. And you believe humans have passed these tests? Your response to climate change showed cooperation across national boundaries. Your space exploration program demonstrated curiosity-driven exploration. Your medical advances are shared globally rather than hoarded. And now, by choosing to study this facility rather than trying to claim it as a weapon, you have shown wisdom. The curator moved to one of the control panels, and new displays appeared showing various chambers throughout the structure. This facility contains technology that can solve many of your current challenges. Clean energy sources, medical treatments that can eliminate disease, transportation methods that do not damage your environment, and communication systems that can unite your species across all barriers of language and culture. Jake stared at the displays in amazement. You're offering us all of this. We are offering you the choice, the curator corrected. The technology comes with great responsibility. You must decide as a species whether you are ready to join the galactic community. The decision cannot be made by a few. It must be made by all humans together. Sarah felt the weight of the moment. What happens if we say yes? You become part of something greater than any single world. You gain access to the knowledge and friendship of 47 different species. You help guide other developing civilizations. You explore the galaxy not as conquerors, but as partners in a cosmic community. And if we say no, Commander Park asked, then we wait. Perhaps in a few more centuries, your species will be ready. There is no judgment in waiting, and no punishment for choosing to remain isolated. The choice must be made freely, or it has no meaning. The team stood in silence, overwhelmed by the magnitude of what they were being offered. Finally, Sarah spoke. How do we make this decision? How do we consult with all of humanity? The curator smiled, an expression that was somehow recognizable despite the alien features. You have already begun. Your instinct was to assemble a diverse team rather than claim this discovery for yourselves. Your captain chose to support exploration over profit. Your military representative chose to observe rather than attack. Your scientists chose to understand rather than exploit. But the final decision must involve everyone, Alina insisted. This is too important for any small group to decide. Agreed, the curator replied. The technology you have seen here will remain accessible to all humans. We will establish contact with your global leaders and provide them with the same information we have shared with you. The choice will be made by your entire species, in whatever way you determine is most fair and representative. As the conversation continued, Sarah realized that this moment would be remembered as the turning point in human history, not because aliens had finally made contact, but because humanity had proven itself worthy of joining something greater than Earth itself. The ocean had kept its greatest secret for millennia, waiting for humans to develop the wisdom and courage to discover it. Now, standing on the threshold of a galactic community, humanity faced its greatest test, the choice between comfortable isolation and the infinite possibilities of the stars. The curator's final words echoed in the chamber. Welcome to the beginning of your true journey. Humans of Earth, the galaxy has been waiting for you.